Good morning, KU. I'm Ben Allen.
And I'm Josh Kurlak.
And Josh, are you aware, is this dark outside when you woke up this morning?
It was not this dark. In fact, it was bright, and it looked about, the sun was about to come out, and now, as I'm being told, it's raining.
It's pretty dark out there. If you guys haven't looked outside, or if you're just sitting in your apartment and you haven't looked out the window, it's raining and it is dark. And you know, Josh, I think this can all be tied back to one thing.
You know, and I didn't want to say it, but you brought it up. I think it has something to do with the government, possibly.
Thanks, Obama. It's the government shutdown. If you guys weren't aware, it's a government fund. We pay the sun to shine, and it's not working this morning.
That's your one lie to the viewers for the day.
Okay, that's my max amount of lies for the day. No, but seriously, it's really dark outside, and if you guys didn't know, it's day 3 of the government shutdown. And Josh, has this affected you at all yet?
Not yet, not that I know of, but I have been told by several people that I should be somewhat concerned and paying attention. But you know, as a student, for me, it's just been hard to really keep up with everything. So, I mean, has this affected you? Have you noticed anything?
I mean, like me personally, I have not really affected, it hasn't affected me personally in a way as being a student goes. But, you know, you're hearing more and more of, you know, people not having a job right now. They're being furloughed, you know. And then the question is, are these people being paid? Is there anything going on? Like, you know, people are seriously, you know, in a little bit of, you know, it's a little difficult for people right now. And with this government shutdown going on, you know, how long is this going to last? And, you know, how long will this affect people?
Right, and I think that's the main key for us right now is just to see how long this will last. Because right now, if they get it figured out here in the next couple of days, this will just brush over.
Yeah.
Everybody will be like, oh yeah, you know.
But it is something that possibly could affect us. You know,
right.
This is something, you know, I was talking with my teacher, Professor John Broholm, yesterday. You know, at what point do we look up and realize the lights are out inside our university, you know?
I think that's when it will become real, obviously, for a lot of people.
And, you know, students could be one of the first people to be affected by this. So, you know, it's always a possibility. So,
but switching gears here, last night the Kansas women's volleyball team traveled to Manhattan, Kansas, and defeated the Kansas State Wildcats in 3 sets. The matchup was the 100th meeting in the rivalry of all time, and just the 3rd time that the Jayhawks have swept a game against Kansas State.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, you know, you're looking at a team right now that is coming off a season in which they were ranked 19th in the nation. Like, that's a big deal. And KU right now, sitting at 12-3, they're hoping to get back into the ranked form. They were playing a team in K-State that was one of those teams that had gotten a few votes to be in the top 25, didn't quite make it. But now with KU, you know, sweeping them in 3 sets, you know, and with the play of Caroline Jarmach, you know, this could be a team that could be dangerous and, you know, and hopefully make it back into that top 25 and maybe even top 20 again.
Right, and I think as students here, we should not take this team for granted. You don't always get to see a volleyball team of this quality, and you know, anytime there's a good team at KU, it's important to support them. So I think there's a lot of good things to look forward to in the future from this team, and you know, KU students, just get out there and support your team when they're at home.
Yeah, and how about Taylor Susie, the freshman? I mean, you know, often with sports we're talking about, you know, these seniors, these big bad seniors like our basketball team last year leading the way. We had a freshman last night lead the team with 6 blocks, and she's, you know, she's looking pretty good out there, and she's, you know, she's leading the way on the defense. You know, it's impressive.
That's exciting, especially as a non-volleyball fan or follower. I have been converted recently, and to see that we have young talent that's going to be there for multiple years, that's something exciting to see.
It's always great. And kind of, you know, sticking with, you know, the sports vibe here for a minute, we got a big football game coming up this weekend.
We do. The Texas Tech Red Raiders will be in town for an 11 a.m. kickoff, so fans get up early and get out to Memorial Stadium. Red Raiders come into the matchup with a 4-0 record. They've already had 1 game in the Big 12 in which they beat TCU, so I think this will be a good measuring stick for the Jayhawks to see where they are at right now in the season.
Yeah, and some people are calling it, you know, a potential upset, and you know, we'll be happy with, you know, anything that goes on. But what's the spread right now, Josh? What's the spread?
Last time I checked, it's KU is a 17.5-point underdog.
Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for the team to try to get a win this week as opposed to past weeks. You know, maybe we'll get some late game heroics, but, you know, I would love just to see a close game more than anything else.
Right, and I think you and everybody else here at KU would love to see a good game, but if they do win, they would snap that 1,000-day streak of a winless Big 12 competition streak, however you want to put that. But last time the Jayhawks won a Big 12 game was against Colorado in 2010, so how fitting would it be to come up with a Big 12 win on homecoming?
Exactly, that would be beautiful. And speaking of homecoming, in our next segment, Brett Ivy is going to be here with a very special homecoming guest you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, folks. With me today is Natalie Scott, a member of the KU Homecoming Steering Committee. Natalie, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. All right, so let's talk homecoming. So this year's theme is Jayhawks Around the World. What made you guys want to choose that theme whenever you were first going through them?
Well, we really had a large amount of themes to choose from. Last year was a century homecoming. So we kind of wanted to go with something different, something that would really give groups a definite theme to go along so that they could really personalize floats for events and other things like that. So we narrowed it down to about 3, and we picked Jayhawks Around the World simply because KU has so many global connections. With study abroad, with alumni who are all over the world in international careers, we felt it was just a really important way to highlight that, but also bring in a really fun theme for homecoming.
That's great. That's great. And now, teams compete in different events throughout the week using that theme. What are some interesting ways you've seen teams use the theme in their competitions this week?
There's been so much creativity this week. It's been so exciting to see. Some of my favorites have been the chalk and rock competition. We have teams come to Wesco Beach, they have a square of concrete, and they just go to town with chalk. And that's been the most fun because you see groups really focusing on things from a world perspective, showing like the solar system and a Jayhawk somewhere, or you have teams that are really focusing on the global aspects of different cultures, which is exciting to see because we have students who studied abroad, students who are wanting to go out into those communities and do things. So it's been interesting to see. People are going to get really creative tonight as well with the parade, so we're excited.
Yeah, and that's right, folks. If the rain doesn't wash the chalk away, be sure, if you haven't been to Wesco, check out all the chalk on the beach. It's fantastic. Really great artwork out there. It's really cool to see. Now, you mentioned the parade tonight. That's always kind of the centerpiece of homecoming. What are you guys looking forward to tonight? What's the details looking like on homecoming? On the parade, excuse me.
Okay, we're looking forward to a really different layout for the parade this year. Instead of going through campus, it's actually going to be going right through downtown on Massachusetts Street, starting at about 11th and going all the way to 8th Street. So that's something new this year. We're also looking for, we have 4 categories of floats in the parade. There's moving parts, non-moving parts, also for vehicles and banners. So we're gonna have a lot of variety as far as what's going down that street. We're really just excited to have it on Mass Street this year. That's a focal point for students and the community. So we're excited to share the event with Lawrence this year.
Definitely, and I think it's definitely a great way to get the community involved. What is community involvement? What does that play into homecoming each year?
One of the really special things about KU as a whole is just the connection with the Lawrence community. KU is like in no way limited to the campus. So things we've really gotten involved in this year to kind of capitalize on that are awareness for wellness. We did kind of a hygiene products drive for the United Way of Lawrence. And we're also in the process of a book drive for the Lawrence Community Shelter. So we're just trying to use these events not only to get people involved and bring spirit to campus, but to also kind of give back to the community that hosts us every year.
That's so cool, and I think that's awesome just to bring that in to help people out. I hope we keep doing that every year because that's awesome. Now, Natalie, you are the awards chair on the steering committee. What does your chair entail, and what all do you have to help with each year when it comes to homecoming?
The awards chair mostly oversees just what it sounds like, the awards, making sure that trophies are in order, that all groups are fairly distributed their points for the competitions and events. I also oversee the Alderdice Award, which is given to an involved sophomore or junior who has ties to homecoming. I'm kind of behind the scenes, and most of my work is this week, but it's been really exciting to just kind of keep track of all the hard work everyone's been putting in.
That's great. And now another award that you didn't mention is the Excel Award. And Natalie, it is to my understanding that you are nominated this year.
Yes.
How does it feel to be one of the 10 seniors nominated for the Excel Award?
It's an amazing feeling. I remember being a freshman at the homecoming football game and seeing those finalists on the field and just wondering if I would ever be able to give back to KU enough to be out there, and I'm just so proud to be able to say that I'll get to be out there this Saturday. The Excel is an interesting award. It's 5 seniors, male and female, every year from each, so a total of 10, and it's focused on excellence in community, education, and leadership. So not just who's the most involved or has the most leadership positions, but who's also served KU and given back to Lawrence.
That's great. Now, for all the younger students out there watching, how can they get involved, and how can they become students like yourself who become nominated for an Excel Award in the future?
I think my best piece of advice would be to not try to be building a resume and not be trying to to make yourself like focus on the award. I think what I did was mostly just got involved with what I was passionate about, worked with other students, and also just tried to learn from where I was able to help in KU and Lawrence.
That's so cool. I know. I hopefully will one day be up there too. I'm hoping for everyone out there that you can be up there too. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Natalie. It's been great having you on. Good luck on Saturday. We're rooting for you here. When we return, we'll have Caitlin and Rebeka back with the news. Stay tuned.
It's day 3 of the federal government shutdown with no end in sight. President Obama met with top Senate and House leaders on Wednesday, but couldn't reach any agreement. The Democrats will not accept any stopgap spending bill to fund the government that has restrictions. The Republicans will not budge from their attempt to affect the health care law signed by Obama.
A ship carrying African migrants to Europe caught fire and capsized off the coast of Italy this morning, killing at least 94 people. Over 150 people were rescued, but some 200 others are still missing. The boat was en route from Libya to the island of Lampedusa.
Snapchat announced a new Stories feature, which allows users to share pictures by posting them to their account instead of exclusively sending them to friends for up to 10 seconds. This new feature will keep pictures on a user's feed for 24 hours and then in a normal Snapchat fashion disappear.
J-School Generations kicks off today with a hot dog lunch for students, alumni, faculty, and staff. It will be held at Stauffer Flint from noon to 1 p.m. A round-robin networking event will follow for students and alumni. This event will be in the Journalism Resource Center from 3:30 to 5:30 this evening.
The Major League Baseball playoffs continue today with the Pittsburgh Pirates visiting the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Pirates-Braves game will begin this afternoon at 4:07, while the first pitch for the Braves-Dodgers game is scheduled for 7:37 this evening. Both games are on TBS. In the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays knocked out the Cleveland Indians last night to win the wild card spot. Next up, they play the Boston Red Sox in a 5-game series starting tomorrow at Fenway Park.
The homecoming parade is tonight at 6 on Massachusetts Street. It starts at South Park and travels north towards 8th Street. Floats depicting this year's theme, Jayhawks Around the World, will join the Spirit Squad and the Marching Jayhawks. A pep rally will follow the parade on 8th Street between Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
Scattered thunderstorms are expected today and tomorrow in the Lawrence area ahead of a cold front moving in for the weekend. Temperatures should reach the upper 80s with relatively strong winds today, but expected highs for Saturday and Sunday are in the low 60s. It's still a bit early for the first frost, but low temperatures this weekend will be in the upper 30s.
That's it for the news today. Now a quick break and back to Ben and Josh.
Welcome back. If you haven't looked outside, it is still raining. And if you guys want a quick look at that, we're going to toss it out there real quick. And as you can see, it's a little bit rainy out there.
Unfortunately, I do have to walk to class after this, and it is all the way across campus, so get all my clothes nice and wet.
I have to go be Jay Gatsby in the next period. You know how great that's going to be? All soaking wet? It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be great at all. Anyway, so I know this is you're a junior. You got this in one more year for homecoming. What's homecoming week been like for you as a Sigma Nu? How crazy has it been this week?
Well, it has been a complete whirlwind of activity at our house. I know there's people constantly working on floats and all the other events that have been going on in homecoming week. And I think the main theme, though, if you're an outsider looking in on homecoming week, it's just the main theme is a lack of sleep. That's one of the ways that I know how to sum it up, and it's just you get zero or very little sleep.
And speaking of lack of sleep, no better way to finish off the week of homecoming than going to late night. So make sure you do that Friday. Make sure you go to the game on Saturday. That's gonna be some fun stuff. Anyway, that's all we have for today. Make sure you guys go outside and enjoy the rain. But for now, I'm Ben Allen.
And I'm Josh Kurlak.
You guys have a good day, KU.